Hi, today I'm here with attorney Cesar Gavidia. And Cesar, I want to talk to you about Amazon employees specifically filing long-term disability insurance claims. Now, we know we've been getting a lot of those calls lately because of the growth of Amazon being one of the world's largest companies and continuing to grow every day. And the Amazon long-term disability insurance policy, as we're sitting here in 2018, is backed by Aetna Disability Insurance Company.
Right.
So kind of important a little bit to date this because that policy is not guaranteed renewable and could change from year to year when
Right.
dealing with a long-term disability insurance policy that's an employee benefit. So let's talk about your experience helping these Amazon employees while the claim is still governed by Aetna.
Yeah, so we have received a lot of calls from Amazon employees. They've either been ready to apply and go into long-term disability, or they've been they've applied for long-term disability and they've been denied by Aetna, and they want to know how we can help, what we can do. Usually at that point they're facing if they've been denied, they're facing an administrative appeal process, a process that could take up to 180 days to complete. And then Aetna usually gives them 45 days in terms of the time they have to review it, and then could seek an extension up to an additional 45 days. So there's a lot going on during that time period, including Aetna performing a bunch of medical reviews, possibly sending these individuals to independent medical exams, and in addition to that, conducting surveillance of these Amazon employees that are seeking their disability benefits.
So a lot of what Aetna does is significant. I mean, Aetna is one of the world's largest insurers, and we know recently that Hartford acquired Aetna in a giant buyout. What impact do you think that's going to have on people that are already on claim or want to make future claims from their Amazon disability policy?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to how the corporate structure is going to change at Aetna. It could be that it's taken over by Hartford employees. They bring in their own people. They're Hartford people that are now administrating the disability claims. Or it could be that the Aetna employees are maintained there and they're administering them pursuant to Aetna's guidelines and procedures that they have in place. We don't know how that's going to come down. I mean, the thing we know is Aetna and Hartford, in terms of how they approach a disability claim and how they review a disability claim, are very similar in terms of procedure and the process. I mean, if they get denied, it's a 180-day appeal process because that's governed by ERISA. Most of the time when you're dealing with an employee-governed disability plan, either through Hartford or Aetna. And so we know that both companies do an extensive and exhausting review of a disability claim. They will send people through medical reviews, they'll send them to specialists, they'll have nurse case reviewers review their disability claims, and they both do pretty much anything and everything to try to avoid paying the disability claim if possible.
All right, well, a lot of the Amazon employees that are calling us, when you look at the dynamic of how Amazon's set up, you have a lot of people who are potentially in the warehouses, that type of thing.
Or distribution centers.
Distribution centers, which we hear about these distribution centers that are going to have, thousands and thousands of employees. But those jobs are not sedentary type jobs. And a lot of these disability policies, at least for the first 2 years, say unable to do the substantial material duties of your occupation, which could be light duty, medium duty, some even heavy duty, because we all know there's tons of distribution of products that are well over 50 pounds.
Right.
Plus you're lifting all day long, so you really can make the argument that it's at least a medium duty job. What's going to happen though when these employees who may not necessarily have much of an issue with the medium duty if they're in a distribution center, but when the definition changes to any gainful occupation?
So now it's no longer a question of whether they could perform their own occupation as an Amazon distribution center worker or as an Amazon manager or as an Amazon warehouse worker. Now it's a question, or even a delivery driver. Now it's a question of, can they work in any gainful occupation that they're qualified to perform based on their education, training, or experience, or could have transferable skills to perform. So it doesn't necessarily mean they could say, well, I've never, I don't know what's involved in being a, customer service representative. I didn't do that. I worked in the distribution center. Well, they'll say, you have the transferable skills to do this because you worked in a customer relations position before, or this is something that you could be trained to do within a week or 2 weeks or something like that, and the next thing they know, their disability benefits are cut off. So that transitionary period from own occupation to any gainful occupation is super critical.
Which is usually after 24 months of receiving benefits.
Right.
But what we like to do with our clients and people who call us is to prepare for that transition period, because usually Aetna is going to begin that evaluation about 6 to 8 months before the change in definition is going to occur.
Yeah, it's usually happening, and the person doesn't even know it's happening.
And so that's the problem. And the way that we help claimants is we work with the claimant and their doctor to document properly that, and assuming this is that the support is there, but very often I find if they can't do a medium duty job, they also can't do a sedentary job. And that's where it's going to change to, can you sit at a desk for more than 4 hours a day with reasonable continuity, 5 days a week, which is what reasonable continuity means. You can't be like, oh, well, maybe a Monday and Tuesday I can sit at my desk 4 hours every day, but come Wednesday I'm done. I can't do it. And also, is Amazon or another employer really going to say, well, if you can come 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, then we're going to hire you? Not
Practically
likely.
speaking, no. Right.
So that's one of the big challenges. So you can, through working, with our lawyers and working with your doctors, you can anticipate this change in definition and hopefully avoid a denial. Now, if you do get denied, obviously we're going to work with you and your medical team and work with all of the experts that we've worked with around the country to prove that not only can you not do a medium duty, but you can't do a sedentary job. Now, not to say every job is above sedentary at Amazon, because there's tons of people who do just sedentary work.
Right.
There's people sitting at a computer all day long. And as you know, being a lawyer, well, half your time's in court, but the other time you're in front of your computer.
Right.
And a sedentary job in front of a computer all day is not an easy job.
No. If you're an Amazon data analyst, you're preparing spreadsheets, you're doing a lot of things that require a lot of intellectual and mental energy, and brain power. So, yeah, it's not just a question of can you just sit in a chair and maintain that position for 20 minutes to 30 minutes.
Yeah,
but that's how the insurance companies look at it.
More than half of Amazon's employees are doing sedentary jobs, monitoring the website, doing all the back end, negotiating with all the vendors. There's tons and tons of things going on to keep that going. But, like you said, if you have a back problem, you have a neck problem, you have a vision problem, you have carpal tunnel, different things where you end up reaching this level of pain where you're like, I just can't focus on what I'm doing and I can't physically sit here anymore. That Amazon's dialed in into what everybody's doing, and they're not going to tolerate you saying, oh, I need a break every 10 minutes.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you are employed by Amazon and have a long-term or short-term disability claim, our attorneys are always available to offer you a free consultation. We represent claimants all over the country, and we look forward to the opportunity to speak with you.